And we're live. Welcome back, everybody. Season 2 of Traveler. How's everybody's week going so far? We're ready to have some fun?
Heck yeah.
Very much so.
I know
Sounds a good thing.
Ronan isn't feeling so well, so his voice may be a little crackly. And I know Kizik wasn't feeling that great this week, so we'll see how he does. Sound all right today, though.
Yeah, I'm on my second day of antibiotics.
Oh, so your throat is probably feeling better. Tummy's probably not so good.
Yeah. I had sinusitis. Those are big fancy words for all of the snot in my head stayed in my head, and I started feeling better and stopped coughing.
Oh, that sounds probably gross. I hope I don't get that. That sucks. Okay. So what I've gathered from before we started streaming is you guys don't properly remember the ending of the last episode, so I'm gonna go ahead and take my turn to do the recap. In the last time on Traveler 2E, you guys as a party took a helicopter to a base in the forest. You crash landed at said base, you raided said base, and you recovered a targeting designator for a artillery satellite that was captured by some rebels. You met a rebel who didn't want to be a rebel anymore, and secretly, at Kizik's suggestion, made a deal with him where you got a bunch of intel, including the, potential nuclear strikes that the rebels were going to attempt against the main government you're working for. And you managed to secure 3 satellites, and in the part of that deal, you let that defector guy go. Unfortunately, when you returned, because during the fighting, Taylor, who is sort of the de facto face of the group, he took a bullet for Luca, and he was badly injured. So as soon as you got back, he was rushed off to the hospital, turning the rest of the group, including Luca, who is possibly not the best at dealing with authority figures, maybe due to some trauma in his past, and he slipped up and maybe told the general that you guys let what to them is a known terrorist escape. But you came up spades as far as providing intelligence on potential nuclear strikes, one of which was at the main capital city and was prevented due to your intelligence. And even though one of those strikes did get through and destroy a military installation, the fact that you saved all those civilians made you sort of heroes in people's eyes, which made it really hard for the military to hold you accountable for your, we'll say, independent thinking decision you made, in letting that enemy of theirs go. So they ended up paying you. You then got, well, no, let's not say that part. You then found your equipment and a ally that you didn't know you had, an agent who had the right passphrases and all of the goodies and stuff from your agency Dropbox. Met with the party and said, I have 2 missions that I really need you to accomplish on this planet, and 2 missions I need you to accomplish on another planet. And I know that you're in the middle of a mission yourself, but you're here, you're agents, and I need these things taken care of. Will you help me? And you agreed. And when he turned over this box of goodies, you had in it a Glass Sparrow helicopter and a bunch of equipment that had been promised to you from the GIA. You went back to your ship at a certain point because during your bunker mission, you had found a very interesting, very old AI, and you wanted to store it on your ship, only to find that some lizard kitty things that you maybe had shot at in the first mission, not knowing what they were all roosting by the hundreds on your ship, and your ship was quarantined because these are apparently an endangered species. They're equivalent of like the bald eagle for this particular country. So they are highly protected. So they won't let you shoot them or move them off your ship or disturb them really in any way, which meant that you had to find alternative housing. And this was quite a struggle at the end of the last episode. So everyone tracking so far? Did I miss anything really important to anyone?
I'm
I
tracking
did a
here.
really good job not telling the military about our AI. I just want to defend myself.
Did a fantastic job not telling about the AI. Thodubs, what was your comment?
No, nothing. I'm just tracking. So, but yeah, very good comment, Kizik.
Okay. So now we're going to move on from past the end of the last episode. So it's been almost a month since the end of the last episode. And what has happened is you guys ended up, while searching for a house, hitting up the Valentine brokerage to see if the new agent who's setting up a Valentine brokerage agency on this planet has any places that you could stay or store a helicopter. And it just so happens that he's in the process of setting up basically a motor pool for the Valentine brokerage, and he had a huge hangar space available without a lot of vehicles in it. You'd have to share with his armorer / chief mechanic, but that was a good deal for you, and he cut you a hell of a rate. You're paying less for this huge space that has living quarters in it than you were paying for the storage unit to keep the van in previously. Which explains this map you're now looking at. This is your temporary living space. And over the course of that month, he's also hooked you up with work, because the military, while officially they have cleared you of all wrongdoing, and you are legally in the clear, you've also found that every time you go to the Merc Pit, even though they're desperate for work, mercenaries, they won't ever hire you. And you're pretty sure at this point that you've been blacklisted by the military. To make matters even more irritating, as you watch the news from your living room, you see that Colonel Rogers, who was your previous point of contact, is taking complete credit for the intelligence find and saving the city from the nukes. He's been promoted to general and is, living the high life, while you guys are having trouble finding work. Yeah. So the month has gone by. You've been given some basic Valentine brokerage busy work, which has mostly been go find a celebrity's wayward daughter before she gets seen on TV, or help guard shipments of tablets and stuff, because, the government, in order to keep this planet trying to pacify the population after, such scary things as a nuke going off, has definitely upped their let's give consumer goods of much higher tech level to the population. So like pallets of tablets are just being basically handed out to people, and those trucks full of tablets are targets for robbery. So you guys have been providing security for those as well. Very piddly jobs, easily within your capabilities. However, this week, a package has arrived from your benefactor, who brought you the equipment case. Dexter.
Yep.
Yep. So I was just trying to remember what name he gave you, because I couldn't remember if he gave you his first or last name. So Dexter has sent a packet, and in that packet is a map and a list. Basically, it's your first of 2 priority targets, and the premise of the letter, first and foremost, we're going to assume that you guys have all opened and read this package, unless someone has a reason why they would not have wanted to have, storyline wise, have been there for it. And then you guys can talk amongst yourselves and explain it as you want. But I'm going to assume that it's basically sitting on the dining room table and you've all read this thing. In essence, he says, I need you to do 2 missions here, one of which is incredibly important that it be stealthily done. I need you to infiltrate a data center buried in a mountain and load the program that I have on this data wafer onto all of the mainframe computers in some way, shape, or form, either manually going through and doing them one at a time or finding some other way to do it, without being detected. And that part is very important. Mission 2 will follow upon completion of mission 1. And it has attached to it a map and some basic schematics of a mountain complex that is relatively nearby, owned by a company, not a government entity, but a company called Leopard Communications. And we're going to scroll into, each of you can put your tokens somewhere in the living space. Each one of you After having absorbed this information, you're going about your lives. Let's start with Ronan, because he's on top. In the living space. Ronan, you're muted.
Yep. Figured that out. Even though I said before all this that I'd be muted.
Mm-hmm.
All right, living space. Well, I don't know that we're our track record is very great for doing things stealthily, but like we have the skills to do things stealthily.
Yes, indeed you do. So your character is Holmes Steele, and he has an extra thing that I have to go over for him. So first off, Holmes Steele has extra packets in the mail. He keeps getting sent all of like the legal paperwork and shit for the ship ever since you guys re-registered it, trying to take care of your little legal issues. And he's just now, as he's reading this paperwork, realized that when the ship was re-registered, Holmes Steele was listed as the captain, and that's why you're getting all the paperwork for the ship.
I'm the captain now. Muhaha.
It's also really hard to concentrate with all the shuddering and shaking because your hangar that is here, not only is there a lot of loud music because your roommate, who is his Jack Nitho, he is the Valentine Brokerage armor mechanic, and he works on shuttles and planes and shit right outside. But the next door, there is a mining company that uses underground tunnelers to dig for ores, and it's more convenient for them to dig as they enter and leave with the tunnelers. That way they don't tear up the roads with them. So they literally have like mole machines next door that make the whole building shake when they come and go.
Did the packages that we got for the mission have a timeline in it?
They did not, other than to say that you have to do this part of the mission first. Have to successfully complete mission 1 in order for mission 2 to be viable.
Sweet. Well, do we have this Leopard Corporation? Are they publicly like? Can we figure anything out about them before we go try to invade their stronghold?
It seems like a great idea. You should talk to your friends about it. Kizik, are you in this room or are you somewhere else?
I can't find my token, but
oh no,
I would be on the couch with a laptop.
Okay. Well, first let's try to find your token because that's important. Here we go. Here's a token of Luca. So you are on the couch with a laptop. I imagine, Channel 6 News is covering the heroic adventures of Colonel Rogers, who has single-handedly saved the city from nuclear destruction.
There's a Reddit post about how he's a big dick. So I look up and you can say, you say Leopard Company? Let me see what I can find.
It's Leopard Communications.
Another thing we should look at is just the general topography around their mountain stronghold. See if there's any like secondary, like I don't want to say entrance points or access points. Just kind of get to know the lay of the land around it while we try to figure out if we can get any public records on like the construction of this place.
Ghost, what is Taylor doing? Was our sound check good?
Yeah, because it can come up a little bit. I'm sending him a message. I think he might have fixed it by now.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm extra 30%.
Cool. I'm going to grab this map and pore over it. This is the map of Leopard Communications' data center. It's got SAM sites on it. This place is serious, right?
It's dead serious. It's buried in a mountain. The place could survive a nuclear strike.
Okay.
Good thing none of those have happened recently.
Yeah, well, that's why Colonel Rogers is now General Rogers. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I think you're right, Luca. He is a dick.
Yeah, look, I'm making a gif of him as a chicken.
So, just out of curiosity, Luca, are you just shit posting on Reddit, or are you actually doing that research Holmes asked you to do?
I got another tab open. I'm looking for research now.
You're like, I can multitask. Give me a computer's check while we go through what Taylor's doing. So Taylor,
I see an.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm looking at the map. I see sewage and exhaust on the map. That's those could be interesting places to check out and do some, figure out if we can fit into those holes, maybe.
Yeah.
But like sneaking in, we could also look into who Leopard Communications hires to do like mundane plumbing tasks or something like that, and we might be able to sneak in that way. Holmes, did you see any mail come through? I haven't gotten like any bills in a while. I see, like you got some envelopes over there. What's going on?
I got a bunch of legal paperwork. That informed me that I'm in charge now. You guys all have to listen to me.
The fuck?
At least while we're on the ship. I'm important.
All right.
Don't take this away from me.
I'm gonna give you the map, and then I'm gonna come sit down.
That's right. Know your role. Hey, Taylor, I'm gonna need you to come look at this map.
Hey, now that you're over there, can you come tell me what to do?
I'm gonna make a cup of coffee. Anybody else want a cup of coffee? They got a coffee machine right here.
Taylor, Aiden, you've just watched all this come around. What's Aiden been up to? What's Aiden doing here?
I've been listening to the discussion that they've got going on between Holmes and and Taylor here, just kind of laughing. But yeah, I'm kind of interested in the fact that this mountain has we talked about the sewage endpoint, the possible entrance points of being the main entrance, obviously, which is kind of obvious, but the sewer also being a possible entrance. I'm interested in the SAM sites, get more information, see if there's any way, get some more info about them as far as how we'd actually be able to get to this mountain. If it's something we're driving to, flying to, how we're actually getting, and then, of course, realizing the radius of the SAM sites.
Okay. So you pull out your 8th phone, and you can start Googling that if you want to give me a computer's check or a related check, and I'll give you information just like I'm giving Kizik, but I'll give you that information about the SAM sites.
Copy that.
So that brings us full circle back to Ronan. And at this point, you guys can just free flow if you want. But, if we got multiple people going at the same time, we'll go in order.
I come over with my coffee and blow the steam off of it, and it gives me an idea. Actually, I think I've got some bad news. If it's an exhaust outlet, whatever is the source of that exhaust is going to be really hot. And the sewage outfit, of course, or outlet, anything that the source of that is going to be stinky. And if I had to take my pick, I wouldn't pick either. I don't want to burn alive or get drowned in shit. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, you don't trust the Evo suits? Like, those keep you safe in space. They'll be all right, no, knee deep in shit.
Oh no, see, I'm picturing these things as 3-foot wide diameter tubes that we'll have to crawl hand over fist into. It's got to be something like that.
I'm out then.
I think that's what we need to figure out is what these exits actually are, and if we know what's coming out of them, for the exhaust, do we know what kind of the air quality that's coming out of it, and maybe have an idea of what's going on inside before we jump into a potentially, like you said, hot or toxic environment.
What powers this place? Maybe we can find that out. If they've got some like reactor, and that's the exhaust for the reactor, I don't know if we should go through there.
Yeah. Here's all the stuff I found on the company. I got a 10 on my computer's roll.
Okay, a 10 is a success with an effect of 2. So Leopard Comms is not a standard company. Leopard Comms is a solar system-wide, almost islands-wide company. Leopard Communications is one of the few neutral companies that is responsible for doing everything for the islands that in the Alliance, the Imperial Scout Service would do. So the exploration, mapping, and cartography of space. They're responsible for exploring the islands, and this data center is their primary repository in the Colchis star system for all of their interstellar cartography data.
Them like good spies. We're just uploading a program.
Can I ask a clarifying question real quick, DM?
Yes.
So we got this mission from Jones or his proxy, right?
You got it, yeah, from Dexter.
Okay. But Dexter is not associated with the Valentine group.
No, the Valentine Group is not associated with any government. They're a neutral brokerage that ostensibly they do the same thing that the Travelers Aid Society does, but in the islands only.
Okay.
Because the Travelers Aid Society doesn't really have much of a presence here in the islands. I misspoke. This facility is the backup facility for the main facility that handles all of the cartography data. The primary facility is in orbit. And if you wanted to buy data from them, you'd actually fly up to the facility in orbit and buy data from the satellite, not from this facility. This, however, is a manned facility that is primarily for analyzing data and providing the backup archive for all that data.
Do we expect there to be like a massive satellite dish on top of the mountain?
There would have to be some sort of communications array on top. It's not listed on this map, but there would have to be some way of getting the data from the satellite up top, the satellite station, it is a space station, up top, down to this auxiliary site. Plus, people would have to get in and out because this is where they do their analysis of said data.
What's the nearest town?
The nearest town is 30 miles away on a dirt track.
Wow,
With it being said that this is a populated facility, it's actually, people are actually there. Do we know what the population of the work crew is?
That's not publicly available data on the internet.
I mean, is that something that was presented to us with all the details of this particular plan?
No.
Gotcha.
Also, plan is he gave you an objective. You're supposed to come up with a plan. But I think that fits with what you meant. Luca, You got a 10 with an effect of 2. Technically, you still have a point you could spend. Is there any specific question you think you could find on the internet you would like to know the answer to?
Are they hiring data analysts?
Give me a luck roll.
Do we have luck dice?
Yeah, I've got D100 over here.
High, please. 57.
They're hiring one position. They're specifically looking for someone with stellar cartography.
Any of you guys know anything about stellar cartography?
Not me.
Negative here, but is that something that we can actually fake a resume on?
If you have a decently high astrogation score, you could probably skirt through an interview.
Okay.
Especially on a backwater like this where the general population is not going to have that skill set.
How's everybody's astrogation? Mine's a 0.
Yeah, same. It's not something that I've focused on.
Gotcha.
I don't even have a 0.
All right, so go with me here. If the nearest town is 30 miles away, and they've got employees and everything coming in and out of this data center, there has to be some sort of shuttle system bringing them in that the SAM sites have deemed safe. Now, Hourglass Sparrow over there is definitely unsafe. We'll get blown up out of the sky if we try to take that. But I think recon is in order, gentlemen. We're gonna have to get close and scope this place out.
There is another document there that I didn't have time to make. It is basically a vertical slice in a very napkin sketch format. And I hope you're ready to take some notes because I'm just going to read it out to you. I'm waiting for confirmation.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm
Anybody?
ready.
Okay. Floor 1 has the entry and offices. Floor 2, this is descending, has the archive and the bunk room. Floor 3 has the main computer core, and floor 4 is support equipment. That is descending, floor 1 being on top and then going down. So it's like -1, really.
Main computer bank on 3.
Yep.
Entry and offices on 1. Archive and bunks on 2. Support. So they said bunks.
Yeah, living quarters
Yeah.
on site.
Okay.
Now, is that living quarters for employees or living quarters for security forces?
It's a decent question too.
Or is it long running shifts?
Oh, like the oil rigs.
Right. Maybe they rotate their shifts, like maybe once every 2 weeks or once a month or something like that, and they have like on site for a certain period of time.
How far away is the site from where we are now?
It's a damn good distance.
Driving.
It would be like driving across the country if you drove. You'd be much faster to fly at some capacity. Tyrone, did you get a pass on your research?
Oh yeah, I got a 13.
Oh, hell yeah. That's almost a critical success, but it's still really good success. So a 13 is 5+ for what you needed. So you know everything there is to know about the SAM site. I'm going to say that they just bought an off-the-shelf SAM site that you guys are familiar with.
Cool.
And because you're familiar with it, because some of you are in the military, you know its capabilities, including things like its flight ceiling. These SAM sites are basically, they're mostly automated. Usually they're linked back remotely to a control center. They have a height ceiling of 15,000 feet, which is still within the atmosphere. So they are not orbital. They can't shoot into space. They have very long-range missiles, though. They can shoot about 30 miles in each direction. Sorry, not completely. They can't go up because they can't handle thin atmospheres. But they can go out. They also only carry 6 missiles before they need a reload each. So they are kind of a burst thing. They're a good deterrent for like 1 or 2 things coming in, but if a squadron of fighters came in and defeated the SAMs, they wouldn't really stop them. So these are mostly for deterrent of snooping aircraft.
What about tiny drones and things like that? Would they detect them?
They'd have a much harder time hitting anything small, especially if it wasn't completely metallic. Like a handheld drone, like what you would think of as like a DJI, like Phantom drone, it would never be able to hit that. It's just too small. A Predator drone, like that shoots missiles and stuff, it would be able to shoot that. A human falling from the sky, there is no chance. It might not even detect a human falling from the sky because they're mostly water. Let's see. Yeah, and obviously they've been programmed out for like birds and things like that. So, they're not going to detect really small things.
And so you said they're automatic?
They're semi-automatic. So there are certain circumstances in which they'll fire with no user intervention. For example, if they detect that a sensor is targeting them, like if you lock onto them with a weapon system and fire a missile, they will automatically fire back at that missile because they're being shot at. But if you flew over in a plane, they would wait for the security center to say, shoot that plane before they'd fire.
We could
Okay,
trick
so
it with chaff, though.
Yeah, if you could absolutely. Countermeasures will work on these things.
Is the radar local to the SAM site, or is it somewhere else?
Each SAM site has its own radar center. They're tied into a mutual control center that they're both linked to. And each warhead has its own independent sensors. So that you can, if you wanted to, like if you took out the radar, you could point the missile at a target and fire it. And as long as when it fired, the target was in the what's called the basket of the sensor, it would lock onto it and go towards it. However, since they're remotely controlled, that'd be quite a feat if you took out the radar for the security forces to be able to do that.
Does it have a floor, the radar floor that we can go under?
It does, and you would know that. Because they're mounted up on the mountain, the floor is actually a lot higher than it would be up until you get to the mountain. But basically, you need to be underneath 1,000 feet from the bottom of the radar. Since these things are halfway up the mountain, I'm going to say that means staying below 5,000 feet up until you get to the mountain.
Got it.
How advertised is this mountain as a data storage thing?
The only way you were able to find it is because basically they've made public announcements saying that it's here so that tourists and locals don't wander into it. They're like, we own this mountain. If you come here, you will be shot. Oh yeah, and we're hiring. Tyrone, you actually have a bunch of leftover effect from that. So if you have any specific questions you want to ask regarding the SAM site, or really I'll just say anything military-wise related to this that you have, I will answer because you have a ton of leftover effect.
Gotcha. I was just trying to think. I think you answered a lot of the questions already. I was interested to see if there were any type of, if there are aircraft going in between, in the mountain or whatever, like helicopters or anything like that. Is there any type of automatic marking or anything like that is like a safe object?
Okay, you know what? You were asked... yes, I'm going to give you that. And Ghost was earlier asking about communications stuff, so I'll go ahead and answer that. On top of the mountain, there is a communications array that also serves as a navigation beacon, warning off aircraft that are making approaches to the site, and designating the entire area as a no-fly zone all the way up to orbit. Now, you guys know their missiles won't go that high, so that's sort of a bluff. Because you can totally fly over top of these SAM sites. But the warning beacon, basically, it creates an invisible cylinder around the mountain that goes all the way up to orbit that they broadcast any planes in that area or aircraft in that area and say, don't go here or we'll shoot you down.
If we want to stay sneaky, I think we should do some recon with drones. That's it's an option.
No, I like that idea. We can actually use the drones to get closer looks of all of our potential entrances and even potentially the SAM sites too. Even the the how security is actually laid out around the mountain. I'm sure they'll have security at the entrance and possibly even the other, the exhaust and the sewers. I don't know, but the idea is to be able to get a better idea of what's going on at those sites, at those particular sites, and manning, what they're using for weapons, how they're actually securing it, things like that.
Do they, for everybody, because I'm blanking on a way to do this without actually doing it, is it possible to gain some information, if anybody can think of anything, on response times and how their response would be if, like we said, if you had somebody be belligerent at the front gate, do they shoot on sight, or is there any way we can draw their security out to see what their response is and what their response times are?
It's a good thing to keep in mind to ask and to try, but as far as the internet is concerned, you've exhausted your resources. There isn't a ton more information on the internet than what you've already gotten.
Oh no, that definitely wouldn't be on the internet. I'm just looking for ideas of how we could how while we're doing recon, things that we could kind of make sure we're looking for is if they're like probing their security potentially, give away a little bit of hey, something's going on here, but at the same time, the information we can get from knowing how they're going to react, where they're going to react, and how long
Oh,
it's going to take them to react.
there is one more bit of information I wanted to give you. This map is of it during the height of summer. It is the middle of winter. That entire mountain is going to be covered in snow.
Okay. Snowy mountain. Who are we? Do we still want to go forward with the idea of someone walking in there for an interview? You know, there's sometimes the best way to infiltrate a place is to attack the social network of the place. So if we get a body in there, I mean, we're gonna have to get a body in there regardless. But like, that's a good idea of getting someone inside.
And even if we don't get hired, just the initial interview, the simple recon questions of, hey, where do I live while I work here? How do I get on site? Is there anything I'm not allowed to have on me? Like, all of that kind of stuff is information you can get from just an interview that you don't even have to be hired to get. So I think there's a lot of value in trying to get somebody hired on.
I agree with that. I think we can look into that. Another thing, I don't know
your
if this
idea.
is,
You want to do it?
well, I don't know if this is valuable or not, but I mean, what about, like, we were talking about like response times? What about fire department, paramedics, emergency personnel? What happens? I mean, are those people all stationed within the mountain, or do they actually come in to the mountain to support problems? Or
Yeah, good questions to ask. You should write it down so you ask it in the interview.
oh, that'd go over good.
Say that you had a fire in your past and you're really paranoid about it, and ask about response times. I mean, they're in the mountains, so that's a good question to ask. Do they have their own? Is it a self-contained facility? Those kind of questions would be asked.
Aiden is the team astrogator. He's the most qualified.
I think so.
Wait a second, I've got a 0. Okay.
That's still the best.
I didn't say you were good at it.
Just because it's a 0 doesn't mean it's not the best out of us.
And really, this is asking about cartography, right? Stellar cartography.
Yes, which is only adjacent to astrogation. Like, you're definitely going to have to bluff.
You should do some research on it right now.
Oh dear.
I mean, if that's the way we want to go. I'm also for, like, all of us donning white ghillie suits and, belly crawling up the mountain to see what we can see. And that might end up having to happen too. I would not want to go through the exhaust pipe or sewage pipe if I can help it, but that might be the only way in, all 4 of us. You said there's a data wafer, right?
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to look at what's on the data wafer, do we? I'm asking the team at this point. Captain, do you want to look at what's on this data wafer?
I don't think that's the smartest idea. I want to, but I don't know that it's the smartest idea because I don't know enough about computers to tell me. But so that's why I have a team with me to help my Captain Neas.
You also have a very cool AI that's like super tactical, right? We could just ask that question, to the right thing. Where's the adjutant right now? Oh, I don't see it. No, the adjutant cabinet. Okay, I see it now.
I think
isn't that why this thing was designed?
I thought it was for like global war defense, not how to decipher a small virus that's gonna bring down a.
Oh no! I'm saying, like, show it the map and be like, "Hey, we got to get in here. What do you suggest?"
Yeah, maybe it already has information on that site from
orbital
previous
bombardment.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Wouldn't it be super cool if there was like some sort of triggering thing that we had that would like cause an orbital bombardment? It'd be awesome.
Oh, we
Just
almost.
walk up in here.
We could also
Oh.
cause some type of distraction too, in order for us to actually get inside the facility.
Yeah. We could try to do that.
I think first up is the recon portion of it. I think we do a mixture of everything where we have somebody try to get hired on while we send the drones in to go take a look around the mountain and whatnot. And maybe do some human intelligence stuff at the town to see if we can pick up any information from there. And I really like the idea of giving the map to the adjutant to see what it thinks.
Aiden, you need any help on your resume there?
Yeah, I need to create one. We'll have to start working on some computer stuff and get one made up.
You should, do the whole fake ID, man.
That's right. We're gonna have to go through the whole thing.
You want to be a local, or you want to be a down on your luck, stuck here? This is your last job.
We're gonna go local. Let's go local.
All right.
I'm a local guy. I saw the sign. This is gonna be cool. I'm gonna apply because
If-
everybody else is working there.
Just remember, if you're a local guy, not a lot of local guys have these kind of skills, and if they background check you at all, like we're gonna have to have a pretty good story
Oh, that's why we
on
got
where
the.
you got your education and everything from.
Well, that's why we got the computer guy to help falsify all that information.
You're banking on the fact that you're our astrogator, and most locals hadn't left the planet.
Oh, fair enough.
But unless you've got a cool story, like you were abducted by pirates and you slowly made it out of their pirating quarters and started flying. I don't know. That's a bad story.
That's an awesome story. Can you tell me where you were 3 to 5 years ago? Yes, I can. Can I take the map over to the adjutant?
Sure. You walk over to the adjutant, you hit the button. The adjutant pops out of its cabinet. Please present query.
How are you doing?
My power systems are operating nominally from the connection that you have established. Also,
That's good news. Also what?
please present query.
Hey, we've got this map of this mountain here, and we were wondering if you could analyze it for defensive weaknesses.
Multiple defensive weaknesses have been detected. Please state parameters of objective.
Objective is to infiltrate stealthily in and out. Our exfil can be maybe the exhaust or the sewage tunnel.
Insufficient data to provide detailed planning. However, the defensive sites provided could allow for a orbital halo drop into the exhaust system. The likelihood of casualty of that approach is significant without some sort of assisted piloting apparatus and the skills to use it. However, that approach is viable for entry. Since no internal data has been provided of an adequate nature, the infiltration team would need to be prepared for multiple eventualities. The sewage could be used as exfil or infiltration point, and would make a less than pleasant approach in and out, most likely.
Yeah.
If stealth is the objective, entry through those two parameters are the most likely for success.
Think a halo drop's gonna be stealthy?
There is no risk of detection if the SAM sites are as listed. Even if a member of the party failed to successfully halo drop, the chances of the body being found anytime in the near future, if at all, is relatively insignificant.
That's a terrifying thing to hear. Okay, thank you, Adjutant. I appreciate it. We might have more questions, but I'm going to take this back to my team right now. Thanks.
Acknowledged. Logging you out.
Gentlemen, I don't know why I didn't think about this before. Maybe it was in the back of my head, but maybe a halo drop. High altitude, low orbit drop. We'd need to be flight assisted, but we could come down screaming fast and land on top of the mountain, then go through the exhaust port up there. The adjutant says that's a pretty stealthy but difficult way to go in. They also say that the sewage tunnel, which would not be pleasant, is a way to get in and out. I'm just going to absolutely protest that one. I don't want to go that way unless we really have to.
Which way is the shortest direction to our objective?
Oh, we don't have any internals of the mountain, except that entry office is on 1. We'll have to get down to level 3, I can tell you that. And maybe even level 4 to branch into some support systems if we have to. I would imagine that we'll be in and out. It's going to be a long time, so we need to be prepared for that. And to try and stay stealthy as possible is going to be pretty difficult too. We don't have the gear to do this the Halo way, so we'll have to get some of that stuff. I don't have any drones either. I mean, like, that's the kind of safest way to recon this. But I think no matter what, we can like fly within the 30-mile missile range, or just outside that missile range, so that we're not picked up. And then we can make a camp out there, just outside. We can do some recon. You can do the interview. I can imagine like that interview is going to be over like a call anyway, right? They're not going to pull you in to give you an interview the first time. They'll give you like 3 rounds, right?
Why are you shivering? It's cold. Why are you wearing all white? What's that buzzing sound? I'm sorry. I'm not trying. I'm not flying drones in the cold mountains. All right. So I got Santiago Maldonado. You spent years jumping between, or no, you were locally abducted by pirates and spent years jumping between ships and working your way back home. But you used the leopard communication maps to help you find your way there. You're not that great at cartographizing, but you're a great astrogator, and you're looking to branch into the cartographizing because you love leopard communication so much.
Yeah, fiercely loyal to the thing that saved you. You getting this?
Yeah, go ahead and say that again. I was working on a separate one.
We're looking at the same laptop. Oh, you son of a gun. Santiago, unless you have a better name.
The name is pretty good, actually. I was just going with like something like George Phillips.
Oh no, you want to be remembered. You're trying to get the job. Santiago Maldonado. We should probably actually figure out which pirate company pirated you. But then you spent years jumping between ships and small planets, working your way back into this system. You used a lot of leopard communication maps to find your way back here. And you're great at astrogating, but you're looking to give back to the thing that actually saved you and got you home.
How did they save me?
By making awesome maps.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
I think my brother and I now gotta plan a camping trip in the cold.
It's just a suggestion. I'm not the captain anymore.
I mean, you're always the captain. That's your rank in the military, right?
I mean, Well, that's way beyond us.
Captain Boaz, and now we got Captain Holmes.
Oh no, I'm a corporal. I just have the paperwork that says I'm in charge.
Yeah, so you're the captain. Captain
Yeah, I'm not
Holmes.
salty about it.
Captain Boaz.
Halo
keep
drops are
flying?
dangerous, though.
Yeah, I want to do that too. It sounds like you're getting some kind of orthocopter where you just turn your hands into wings and you fly straight down. Oh, man.
The problem you're gonna have with a Halo drop right into the exhaust and everything is what do we do with all the equipment once we get on the ground?
It's really snowy. I would just bury it in snow.
Do we intend on leaving it there when we leave then?
They said we can't be detected. I don't know if it's being detected like 6 months later. And do we care about oh man, I do care about those orthocopter wings.
I don't think you know what an orthocopter is.
I want it to be Birdman so bad.
I'm trying to think of things that would help us in this jump that we could maybe source from our Valentine friends or
About to say, if only you weren't roommating with, a potential.
yeah.
Basically, your roommate is the armor for Valentine brokerage on the planet.
That's true. We haven't really officially met him.
Well, you have
in here magically.
You have during your backstory. So you guys are familiar with him. His name is Jack Nitho. And he's a metalhead and a gearhead, and he basically he's a mechanic who loves to build things that go boom. He plays his music too loud. You guys have been really friendly with him. Specifically, you, Taylor, have had many conversations on potential upgrades for the Glass Sparrow.
Like this guy.
Well, you and him are kindred spirits because you're both mechanics.
Yeah.
He also has a thrust-only, like that shuttle right there, is one of the early attempts by the Kolka system to build a native shuttle. It looks badass. It runs completely on what you would consider maneuvering thrusters, which means it runs on fuel. Like, it actually excretes fuel instead of, powering a generator and using G drives. But he has it working. So there is that. It also has a cabin where you could jump out of.
Oh,
it
nice.
also looks like a Battlestar Galactica Raptor, which is pretty cool.
Well, that's because that's what it is.
Why?
And that's pretty cool.
But he also works on things like right next to it is a, our time World War II era plane, but it's the standard plane that the Air Force uses on the planet because they have mixed technologies at extreme levels. So he's repairing a military fighter right next to it. But yes, he absolutely could help you with any of those sources if you wanted to, go knock on his door and, say, hey, come on over here. He would do that.
I think, if you guys are okay with it, I don't know how many people we're going to pull in on this, if it's going to be a top secret Jones mission. Winky wink.
Yeah, he doesn't know our papa.
Luca, I think you want a para-wing. Page 98 of the CSC.
We're going camping first, though, right? We need a drone and a white suit. We're going into the woods of a mountain.
That's true. I think we could do that. Squirrel suit too, 99. A squirrel suit would be awesome.
Squirrel suit is actually what I had in mind.
That would be so cool. All right, but yeah, we could go camping and take our drone. And does everybody want to go? We could call it a bachelor party. Go camping under the guise of just going and hanging out, being dudes.
Makes sense. The one question I have, all of us looking at the same spot. is that's a whole lot of mountain to cover. So do we
That's
want to
true.
like go 2x2s, or like depending on the range of the drones that we get?
Yeah, maybe we need to figure out hardware first, and then we can use that as a requirement.
Yeah.
But it is a big ass mountain. What's the size of this
It is.
overall? A couple miles?
Yeah, it's pretty big. It's not the biggest mountain on the planet by any stretch, but they definitely picked it because it is imposing, and it is isolated. It is away from other things. It's also worth noting that you're like, hey, we're gonna go on a bachelor party. I had mentioned earlier, but I just want to reiterate because Kizik's character will absolutely know this. They will shoot you on sight. There are signs. Locals do not go on this mountain. It is not a tourist destination. If they find you, they're just going to kill you.
Yeah, what's the range on that? Do they have it like fenced off?
It's the whole mountain, and there are radio and light beacons. So basically, there's a holographic fence around the entire mountain. It's not a sensor fence. It only sits there. It's like there's like solar panel things in the ground that say don't go past this point.
Okay, so I don't want to make an assumption, but if we're outside of that area and we fly the drone into that area to scope it out,
so now you're hitting a range issues.
Still,
yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
That's what I needed to know.
Yeah.
And so he said there's no sensors beyond the fence, meaning it's just a physical fence, or
Yeah, it's not even really a physical fence. It's a stick in the ground with a holographic sign that says "Don't go past this point, or you will be trespassing and you will be shot."
Gotcha. Okay, so but I mean, if you do go past that, no alarm's going to go off or anything like that. It's actually just going to be a warning.
So you guys would know that from Kizik's research into the area around the corporation. There have been issues, like hunters from the local town have breached the perimeter, and there has been conflict between the local town and the facility. And he's reading these articles where a hunter went in and never ever came back out. And the company's like, if you go in there, you might be shot, and we are under no obligation to tell you if we shot someone in there.
Right on.
I'm so ready for that camping trip.
Going sneaky.
I chugged an energy drink, so I need an early bio break. I'll be right back.
The other thing that wouldn't be too hard, well, it just depends. It's Kizik rolling, but if we take that sparrow and stay under that 5,000 foot floor, it shouldn't be too hard in the sparrow. But I think no matter what, we're gonna get cold. It's gonna be cold on that mountain.
Yeah.
I mean, the sparrow is not that big either. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think we made that out of spare parts. It's not upgraded. It didn't have a whole bunch
it's
of
not
electronics.
Or countermeasures or anything like that in the SAM sites if they detect
It does. Yeah, it does have a gun on it.
Sweet.
Not to take out a SAM site.
No, I think it's like just a cannon.
It's like a rotary cannon. It's still pretty cool.
I mean, unless the missiles are exposed on the SAM site, then you can take out a missile, which will take out a SAM site.
Yeah, but then we're not doing it sneaky.
All right, so are we using? We're gonna need this guy's ship, unless we want to use our shuttles and shit.
Too bad we don't have like a localized EMP or something like that, or directional thing that we can toss off at the SAM sites, just so we can do a quick infill and out.
But even an EMP will be detected. Like they'll know something's going on.
No, I know,
We
and
gotta be
that's
super stealth.
gotcha. No, I hear you.
I think realistically speaking, the adjutant's right. We either drop down the exhaust or we hike it through the poop. And who doesn't like a squirrel suit?
And I hate to say it, but I don't. Do we know anything about the steam vents? I mean, we don't know anything about the inside of this place, and we don't even know where that vent goes to.
Fact.
That's true.
If it goes to some reactor, I mean, you're gonna plop down inside that thing and just end of game.
You're gonna find that out during your interview.
So now, am I doing
mean,
the interview before we go on our camping trip or during the
just
camping
just
trip?
just so we're on the
I
same
think
page, that's not how reactors work.
What do you mean?
The exhaust for the reactor has nothing to do with all the bad stuff that would kill you. Like that's not how they work.
Well, I'm not worried about the reactor or radiation or anything like that, but I mean, I'm sorry, exhaust is still hot, right? I mean, it's
Yeah,
coming
Yeah,
that's
from
what I
some
was worried
place
about.
with,
Is
with
heat.
extreme temperature. I'm
It's
not worried about the radiation. I'm more worried about I don't want to get into an area where it's like 1,000 degrees Celsius, and I'm hanging out down there with no place to go except for a
but
little
we
tube.
we assume that the exhaust is actively spewing hot stuff. Like it could be an exhaust for like your dryer vent where it's just letting air cycling air out and it's got nothing harmful in it at all and it's a normal temperature. We don't know.
Well, that's what our drones are going to tell us. Hopefully, we can get our drones over there so we can get some type of temperature reading, maybe.
Yeah, we could find that out with a like a thermal um, scan from the ship.
I mean,
Or
realistically on our camping trip if we look at it and it's steaming on its way out, depending on the color of the steam and whatnot, we should be able to tell.
You can also
Okay,
see if
But
it's intermittent too. Maybe it's something that maybe it's a venting type of thing where it
yeah,
actually vents periodically versus being on all the time.
yeah, all the reason that we need to go on our camping trip.
So back to the interview. Am I doing this while we're on the? I mean, so are you guys going on the camping trip? I'm doing the interview, or how is this? How are we coordinating that?
I think we do one and then the other, and I think the camping trip is probably the most dangerous portion of that. I don't know if the interview would become dangerous unless you said something silly.
No,
So
I
I
don't
think
think
you
the. Yeah.
I think you try to knock out the interview first, and we take all of the information that you do at the interview, and we apply that also to the camping trip, so it becomes less dangerous.
Okay.
We take this in steps.
Are there any things that? So if we're going to do it that way, are there any things that you guys would like me to? Well, I'll ask or get information on during the interview.
I think you're getting a
We
little ahead
would,
of yourself. You haven't submitted your resume yet.
Oh, I know. I'm just. Yeah. I know. Okay. Well, I think we've got somewhat of a resume going here. The whole Santiago Molendado.
Mhm. And I'm giving you bonuses for such an elaborate backstory, such a creative and elaborate backstory. But I still need an admin role for the resume.
oh man, I'm advocate, not admin.
And I'm not either. Anybody admin?
Who's our jack of all trades? That's who we really need to do this.
This Kizik not admin?
No, I'm not an admin.
Are
I
you?
was working towards that.
Oh. I'd
Maybe we
allow
get
I'd
one
allow
more.
broker if any of you have broker.
Not me.
Oh, same here. Nothing.
I have broker.
You
It's a
do?
0. I do have broker.
Well, that's better than the -3 for me.
I think I'm the only one that has broker.
You found a place that does
Yes.
resumes.
Okay, so they can assist you in putting this together. And because there's not a lot of competition on this planet, you only need a 6 to pass.
Side note: while he's doing that, what's the name of the town that's 30 miles away?
And we have our first question I wasn't prepared for. Give me a second.
Okay, I might need that during the interview.
It's called toupee.
Is it? Yes.
Don't write that down.
Yeah, don't write that down. I was making that up.
Oh, I thought it was pretty fun. I know. I get it. I was
Not
just
canon.
commenting off of how cool it sounded.
Yeah, don't listen to me. I still make those shots because sometimes they do stick.
Rule of thumb in my games is if something becomes a parody, it's temporary, and if something is taken seriously, then it's canon.
Oh,
So I'll totally
that's
go.
why I'm still eating pizza.
Yeah, I'll totally go along with a let's have a laugh, but in the next episode, I'll be like, yes, that's not what we're going with. The name of the town is Leeside, Leeside.
Copy. So just to go back on you, Kizik, you say it was the Santiago Molendado. It was a local guy that, I make sure I understand this, picked up by a bunch of pirates somehow, and
Not
actually
somehow.
used.
You need to know that.
That's what I'm trying to come up with. I didn't know if you had anything in between that. You had mentioned a bunch of different things. I was taking notes. And then, of course, used the maps from Leopard Communications to actually help me get back, and actually from that gained pretty good astrogation skills. I've got to fill in the blank with the local guy and pirates getting abducted. Does that sound about right?
Ronan, did you beat that 6? Are you muted? Did you die?
I don't know. His microphone is like totally off. There he
A
is.
little bit of all of that.
We're going to make Tyrone do the interview.
Oh, okay. Well,
Did you beat that 6?
I got a whole whopping 4.
Oh, no.
Wait.
You did get an assist with that. Did you roll 3 dice?
Nope, I only rolled 2.
Roll.
All right, here we go.
Roll another one and take the highest.
The highest 2 is a 6. And this goes with intellect, right? Or education.
I would have allowed either one with this one. I would.
Both of them are 1. So
I would have also
7.
allowed social if you wanted to use it. Okay, so
No, we will never use my social skill.
So that's a pass. So you are in the pool of candidates, Aiden. You are Santiago something.
Molendado.
Santiago Molendado has been. You got your initial email back, and they said we would love to do a remote interview with you. When can you give us a virtual interview?
Well, as soon as possible. Did they give times, dates, anything like that as far as options, or?
I mean, if you respond as soon as possible, I imagine that within that day, you're going to get like an online phone call on your phone, and you're going to have a representative trying to schedule, like, they're willing to do it like right there on the spot if you are, just an initial interview to see if you are going to be able to fulfill their needs.
Okay. So yeah, as soon as possible.
Okay. They're like, hold on, and we'll transfer you over.
I'm going to step away for a sec.
Okay. So you are transferred over to Lila Sienna, who is the HR rep for the local department of Leopard Communications. And she's going to say, good morning, Santiago. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well today. How about yourself? Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Well, we had very few candidates that had any sort of ability to pass the initial screening test we had. And I'll be honest with you, you had such a creative backstory in your resume that, well, I got to tell you, my boss loved the idea of having someone with such a colorful history become part of the company. With that said, your scores weren't fantastic, and you did mention that you're primarily not a stellar cartographer. So we'd kind of like to talk about what skills you do have in relation to that. Says here you've done some astrogation. Astrogation obviously relies on stellar cartography, so you should be familiar with the basics of how maps work. Can you tell me a little bit more about your knowledge level?
So knowledge level for myself, and that is had to, based on my backstory, I had to learn quick how to use those maps. And when I ran into my issues that I had where I was actually abducted and I had to escape, and I think I had all that in my details. And I guess it's a crazy story, but I really had to. That was my one chance to be able to get away, to save myself, and to return back to my family that was on Lee's side here. And yeah, I'm really thankful that I was able to learn quick enough. And of course, the maps were wonderful that I received from the company. And as such, I was just so thankful that I had those maps and I was able to learn quickly. And it was actually a real huge blessing in my life to be able to have those in my possession. So I wanted to get an opportunity to learn more from the company that made such wonderful mapping, and to be able to be the kind of employee that I need to be to grow in the cartography region based off of the skills that I picked up during my unfortunate endeavor.
Give me a deception roll. You need a 6 to pass.
So,
It's terrible.
she's like, so you're not real great. What are your skills? And you're like, my skills.
I really love the company, and I totally have family in Lee's side that you can't totally just go check.
Oh, you guys suck. See, this is why I didn't want to do this.
You're doing great,
I was
man.
about to say, it actually was a pretty good spiel because that started at a 10 difficulty.
Yeah, don't think I'm giving you shit because that was
Started at
fantastic.
10?
Yes, it started at 10 because you said I have family in Lee's side, and the first thing they might want to do if they're checking your references is say, oh, well, who do they know in this town of 40 people?
Yeah, okay, fine. You guys. I love you guys. Nothing but love for you guys. Trying to find the deception.
I didn't realize it was only 40 people.
It's not really 40 people, but it is a very small town. It's probably between 1,000 and 2,000 people in the whole town.
Hold on a second. I have a mark on my deception. I think it's a 1, but I'm not positive because my paper didn't print out very well.
Did you update your sheet here?
Did not, so let me look at this.
It's a 1. It's a 1
gosh.
here. Yeah, it's a 1
So-
here. Technically, it goes with your social.
Okay.
So that's
Well,
really a
social-
wash.
Yeah, social's bad, so I washed out social, but I rolled a 9.
Okay, well, you passed it anyway. Okay, so yeah, she's like, that's an amazing story, and to have, again, you're a local, we've had a little bit of trouble with local, so just one quick follow-up question. There has been some tension between the town and the facility. Is that, since you have family there, is that going to create any issue for you for working for us? Because, you'll have to be on site for at least a 3-month rotation at a time.
No, absolutely not. My family's in a situation where they're older, and we don't have any income coming in the family at all. So this is, to be entirely honest with you, my one chance to be able to bring some money into the family, to be able to help everyone out with my mother and father in their older years. So there's not going to be any concerns or issues with that as well.
Oh, that's wonderful. All right. So we'll call you for a follow-up. Since you're local, it shouldn't be a problem. We'll meet you at the cafe in town to do the next interview. If you can just text us when you could be available to meet, we'll send a rep down to meet with you and do the second part of the interview.
Okay, that would be great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And she hangs up. You immediately, like, she hit the send button as she was hanging up, you receive an email that has a bunch of forms for you to fill out. Now, I don't know about Santiago, but Aiden's been around the block enough to know that when they start sending you, this is how you fill out your direct deposit form, you've got the job. So
Direct deposit, yes.
Yeah. So like you've already convinced them. They're just rolling through the motions, which also means, because you rolled such a good deception, that you've won the trust of these individuals. So you've done pretty well on that.
Okay, good. Cool. So Aiden will start filling out the forms and getting those returned.
Well, the important thing they want to know is they want to know when you can be in town to do the interview. This is something you may want to discuss with your buddies.
Gotcha. Okay. Hey guys, looks like I may have just gotten that job that we wanted me to get to be able to get that inside information. I need to be
Nice.
able to schedule something with you guys to find out. They want to do another interview at the local town, and I need to make sure I'm coordinating that well enough with you guys to find out what day we should get that done.
Well, you got a suit? Do you have something nice to
Oh,
wear?
I hate suits. I guess I do have to go shopping, don't I? Yeah, I got to go get shopping. I got to go get some suits.
And then we can fly out to Layside, right? We can make that flight. So
Absolutely.
you could do this soon, like tomorrow, maybe the next day if we want.
Okay.
Um,
Sounds good. So we'll do 2 days is what we want to do. Is that comfortable?
I look at everybody else for approval, but I think that's a good idea.
Okay. So 2 days. That might give you
We
guys
even
an
make it
opportunity to.
tomorrow.
Oh, we can do it tomorrow. Okay. So that'll give you guys an opportunity to actually do some, canvassing of the area and get some additional details and information from the town folk as well.
We have
Yeah,
enough time in just one day to get the drones and stuff that we need.
Are you guys
well,
buying the drones from the town, or are you guys like ordering
I,
those somewhere
we
I
else?
don't
should
think.
probably have those before we go out there.
Yeah, we can still talk to Jack though. We can bring Jack in here now, and we've got more of a plan. We can ask him
You
for
also
some stuff.
you also don't have to tell Jack the plan. If you've got the credits, he'll provide the equipment. He doesn't. He's not gonna ask questions about what you're
He's that
using
kind
it for. Yeah.
Let's put that map away and say, hey, we're looking for some drones.
I also want to point out that the Sparrow, while it does have a capacity of 4, when you look at it, 2 of those seats are benches on the outside of the helicopter. They're not the most comfortable places to fly over that kind of distance. It could technically do it, though, so you may want to keep that in mind.
So we need to ask Jack maybe for a ride out to Layside too. But just to be clear, we don't have our shuttle because it's on our ship, right?
That is correct. Your launch is on the ship.
Okay. Quarantine.
Also, there are 2 little kitties that hang out in here. One of them is an actual ship's cat, not one of the local hybrids. And they have names, and they are basically Jack's pets. But you have found that the Griffin specifically spends a lot of time, like when you're working on the chopper, it roosts above you and just watches you intently. After a month or so of doing this, it's kind of done that animal thing where it's gotten closer and closer each time. And if you'd want to try to befriend it, you could attempt to do so. Since we're talking about those things.
You had to bring it up because I was going to ask if what in that month that I could have befriended the little kitty thing.
Everyone could have had the opportunity. The ship's cat's going to be automatic. You won't even have to roll for it. Super friendly to people. And I'm just going to go ahead and tell you that cat can teleport. Like it has the psionic ability to teleport. It doesn't jump up onto its roost. It just pops into existence up there.
Fuck, that's cool.
That's awesome.
The Griffin, the hybrid one, seems to have to jump and bound between things, but it's much more timid. It's more of like a feral cat that is becoming domesticated.
You cat. Do you need some sort of role for the befriendment?
Yes. I'm not sure what skill to associate with it.
Just persuade him.
Veterinary
Animal handling.
There is an animal handling. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say it's an animal handling role.
Damn.
And it's going to be your intellect or social.
Eee.
I got this. -2. I got this. Ooh, I got an 8.
You befriended a cat?
Yay.
I also got an 8.
Not me. Crash and burn.
I got a 3.
All right, so Holmes and Taylor have befriended the feral. Not really feral. He is Jack's pet. Tikar is her name. And she's definitely one of the griffins. And the strangest thing happens that when Tikar purrs and you're petting her, you feel warmth inside of you. Like you feel this feeling of comfort. Like if you're really stressed and working on it on the sparrow and you are aggravated and you pet this particular cat, you will feel better.
That is awesome.
And it's been a month and I'm just jealous. I just can't get close to her.
Yeah, she keeps coming up to me. I get scritches behind the ears. You come up, she dances away from you just outside your reach.
One time I was standing facing the wall and she thought I was you and got real close to me and I turned around. I was like, oh, it's finally time. And she just took off.
Anytime she
Not
does that
jealous at
though,
all.
Sama, which is the actual ship's cat, would have been like, oh, you want to give pets? I'll get pets. Like this cat is the most friendly cat.
Just pops into existence
Yeah.
in my arms.
Yeah.
Teleports into you or under your hand. Crazy, that's cool.
Okay. So, because we did want to hit that side note, let me see if I missed anything from my notes before we move on from this. Oh my God, there's something super important. 2 events are going to happen during that month before we move on to the next task that I need to go over, and it may take us a minute. So we'll start with Taylor. Taylor, you got an idea from Jack on how to increase the fuel efficiency of the Sparrow, and you guys started working on the engine, and you slipped on a cowling, and you fell, and you cut your finger down to the bone. You went into the kitchen, and you washed it off, and you wrapped it up in a bandage, and you went to sleep, you took a nap, and when you woke up, the bandage itched, so you pulled it back, and your cut was completely healed.
The fuck?
Okay? That's going to be
Except
a weird...
for the cat, too?
It's a weird thing that's going to have happened. Now, Luca, you're going to have been in the kitchen trying to cook dinner, and you're going to have forgotten to grab an oven mitt, and you're going to have grabbed a pan that was in a 400-degree oven and burned your hand, like, pretty significantly on it. And within a day, it's going to have completely healed.
And did those happen at the same time?
They happened within weeks of each other.
Oh, yeah, I definitely would have told you about it.
Yeah, then I would have told you immediately about my... Look, I can do it too.
I
touched
thought
that
it was
thing
from petting the
yesterday.
cat. Yeah, but you're not petting the cat.
I'm petting the other one.
Oh, we are both petting that cat. I don't know if that's related, though. What the fuck?
Okay.
What did we touch?
I'm going to give you another piece of information. Aiden is going to somehow injure himself. Aiden, you can make up whatever minor mishap you want, and he is not going to heal the same way. And he's petting Samia. Samia is probably how you say that. Just as much as you guys are.
It's not the cat.
Is it? Then it's not the cat. What do we do then? We both got healed at the doctor's office.
Oh, you think that that's still going through us?
They got real good doctor's medicine here. I don't know.
What about... Ooh.
You have
What was that thing?
So you have a pile of paperwork from the doctor's office that, other than the fact that it was actual paper, which probably amused you guys, you probably never looked at.
I'm going to look at it now. Where is it? I'm going to find that shit. Is it the medicine that we're taking?
I want you to roll a medical roll or a doctor roll of some kind. If we're looking through it, trying to make sense of it. Luca, you can do it too. I know you don't have the exact skill set.
Medic roll?
Yeah, medic roll is a primary role, but if you want to try to, if you also want to talk to your 2 friends who it's not happening to them, but they might be able to help you figure something out.
We can talk about this in the conference room.
We just got piles of medical paper we're going through. Is acetaminophen different than Tylenol?
No,
I
I
got
wouldn't think so.
I got a 9.
Okay.
Um,
So that means that you have found a. So, first off, I explained in the first episode that they had really cheap universal health care here, and that you accelerated healing super fast. Well, that Luca accelerated healing super fast when he got stabbed. Like, it was amazing to you guys how quickly he healed at the hospital. I'm gonna say that you guys wouldn't have been here for a month without Luca establishing a remote connection to the library computer on board the Perfect Stranger. He may not be able to go on the ship, but you can remotely tap into it. So that gives you access to the library. And with a 9, you can look up the medical database and you can compare it to the notes. And you're going to pull up a file. So they're going to reference a procedure of Cura implantation. And when you run Cura in implantation in the database, this article comes up.
oh God. Okay.
You also have been stupidly hungry.
Yeah, I was wondering why I was hungry.
So I'm not just really tough.
No, man, we got a worm up in us. Oh man, that's gross. I don't know. I remember signing this paperwork, but I don't remember being explained. Like, they need to explain what's going on. That come in a pill?
So, judging from the paperwork, you're guessing that the vast majority of the population of the city probably has these. It seems like that's their standard. Like they do this on purpose.
I think it's kind of cool. I'm gonna keep mine.
Wonder if it's in the food or water.
If it were, you'd have one.
Do you want one? I give you a kiss. Is that how it passed?
No, that's okay. That's all right, dude. I'm just talking about ways to avoid.
Okay, well,
You're
can I
both,
get a copy of that
I was
card
about
to
to say,
put on my...
you're both going to want copies of that card. That I was about to say that. Kizik, you take the other one.
I'm gonna put that in my chest. Nope, just under my chest.
Yeah, it's in lower intestines.
Yep. You remember that episode of Futurama where Fry gets the worms? It's fantastic.
Oh, it makes him super smart.
Yeah, massages his muscles and makes them stronger.
Okay. So let me go through again. I think that's everything. You met Jack. You got your new digs. We went over the Cura stuff. We went over... Oh, so you've been working on the Sparrow a lot. This is not the Sparrow that you and Kizik, you and Luca built as a child. It is a faithful replica, as though someone has laser scanned the original. As you look over the container it arrived in, the container has a bunch of transit stamps on it. It actually arrived in New Home right before being brought here. So it's been on a rotation heading closer and closer and closer to where you were at. I don't know if you can deduce what's happened from that information, but I'm going to leave that there. Yeah, and that's all the list.
So, like, do I figure out that it's not our original OG Glass Sparrow somehow? Like, well, I'm putting it back together, and like, there's a cog that I'm like, I remember putting this together after it broke, and there's like no break lines.
Yeah, it's something like that, or you've written yourself a note on the inside of the cowling where a laser scan wouldn't have necessarily seen it, and when you take it apart, it's not there.
Gotcha.
But it is like it's broken in certain spots where like it's a faithful replica.
Luca, I wrote our names on our OG Glass Sparrow.
Yeah, we
Like-
engraved them and put them inside
Right.
the steering stick.
It's not there. Okay. Well, that's... I wonder if Valentine's been, like, forwarding it on to us. No? That can't be right.
It's not Valentine. It's Papa got us this. But he said he was going to keep it in like the last place you're trying to go in the top right corner.
Top left.
Zuffel.
Right.
And you're currently
Yes.
here. You're here. That's your destination, and you came from here.
And we got to stop by Herzenslust.
Right.
I mean, it looks good. It feels good. We've flown this guy, right?
We haven't officially flown this guy.
It's been here a month. Like, we would have had to have flown it.
Well, Jack and I were working on the efficiency, like the fuel problems that we used to have. I think I've finally fixed that. So we should be able to fly it for a little bit longer, maybe 10, 15 minutes longer than we usually do.
That's great.
Yeah, it's good. Now, we can't do that with 4 dudes in it. You know what I'm saying? The other 2 are just too heavy.
I mean, they get a ride on the props like the other 2 guys that we grew up with, right? We're the only ones in the actual cockpit.
I think we need, if we're going to go, right, to, Layside, we need to get Jack involved. I think we need to get a ship and maybe just a ride out there. So Aiden got an interview at the cafe, so we should pack up and get ready for it.
I mean, do you want me to fly Aiden there and then come back and then get somebody else? We can make trips of it.
I think we need to do a quick shopping trip here and then head out and go to Layside so that he can hit his interview.
Agreed.
Drones, camping,
Yeah.
ghillie suits, things that keep you warm.
I put a little note card out so you can go in. So as far as survival gear goes, most survival gear is pretty low tech. So if you want to make a list of things, it's got to be, unless you want to, because you have access to a Merc outfitter. So if you see something that's high tech that you really want, we can talk about it, and you probably can get it. But you don't even have to ask if it's tech level 9 or lower. You're going to be able to find it. Also worth noting that after the nuclear strike, the depreciation of the local currency has been significant. So everything, all the prices are listed in local credits. So you can get the tech level 9 stuff actually cheaper if you're willing to use some of your gold currency. Just realize that a lot of your cash on hand is in local currency, which is also devalued. Something about a nuke going off and killing like 60% of their up and rising military officers.
That would do it. All right, so I think some heat suits would be okay. They're tech level 8.
Do you guys know how to ski?
I've never been skiing.
I haven't been skiing either. But we're going out to the snow plus a mountain. Gotta be prepared. I'm gonna get an ice axe.
I'm assuming cold weather clothing is also on the menu.
Absolutely.
Which TL are you getting?
For the cold weather clothes, I haven't looked at it yet.
Tech level 5, the advanced.
Okay.
Just make sure you're keeping track of cost of everything, because that's actually a little expensive.
That's 500, but that lets you move. Plus, I feel like is easier to be white. Easier to be ghillie suited in a slim fitting thing instead of a giant puffy coat.
Yep, that's absolutely true.
Get face masks too. Oh, no. We need thermal goggles. At least one pair.
That is a valid piece of information. Thodubs, feel free to chime in here. They're doing the shopping, and later on, I know you're going to the interview, but you also may have specific needs or requests.
Yeah, I'm going through looking right now. So.
Oh, good. You're digging through the book. Good.
What about a breather mask? You think we need that or a filter mask? I'm just talking about cold, right?
I mean, if we're going through a exhaust vent or the poop chutes.
Yeah.
Well, do we know how cold? I mean, do we know anything like that?
It's got a bunch of snow and it's in the mountains. I'm going to say between 20 and negative 20.
It's not going to be negative 20. It's going to be between 0 and 20.
Okay.
Potentially climbing stuff.
Need some rope. Always need rope.
Always have to have rope.
And a towel.
I'm going to get some snowshoes too. Does that leave bigger footprints instead of regular shoes?
So that's an ice terrain kit. You get crampons for boots, snowshoes, rope, and a brightly colored rescue blanket. It removes any negative DM for checks performed on ice or snow. But it doesn't include clothes, so we still need the clothes.
Need a little like solar power thing to charge up the drones.
Oh yeah, we need drones. Where
Yeah.
are the drones in the book?
They're not in that one. I'm working on it right now.
Okay.
They're $5,000 a piece that I've figured out.
Oh boy.
Are you guys marking all this on that 3x5 card there?
Yes, I'm writing the shopping list. You can
Gotcha.
add to it now if you want.
No, I'm looking at it. I mean, throw in one more. I mean, we got 4 of us, so throw in one more ice axe. See if I can do that. Okay.
Worked perfectly. Okay. I only pulled one drone that was sufficient to what I think you're trying to do, because it was a lot of work to do that I should have done earlier, but I didn't get to today. Here's a quick excerpt of the robotics manual, but I know that you guys don't have just this one drone that's available. This is what Jack can get you. And his first thing he's going to say is, I can't get very many of them. And they're not technically illegal, but you wouldn't want to get caught with one because it'll raise questions.
What
And he
what skill is that?
probably remote. Well, it's a drone, so it's supposed to be automated. He can get you up to 4 of them. I think they're automated. Hold on a second. Drone can be directly controlled using a selected waypoint system that requires no special skill beyond a familiarization period, or can fly a preset course.
Nice.
That to me says that you don't have to make a skill check for it. I probably will have to roll its traits. Yeah, so it's got IR vision, intelligence 0. So I'm using its traits to do rolls behind the scenes. Basic is a +0, basic is a +0. It has a 5 kilometer range for transceiver, but you can probably send it beyond that because it's got an endurance of 6 hours. Ooh, an endurance of 24/6. I have to figure out why it's got 2.
It says it's got 6 hours of operation.
That makes sense for its endurance being 6 hours. Yep. And software comes free with every drone. So, yeah. These are going to be commercially bought things. So while Jack's providing them, he's not building them. That also is why they're so limited in quantity.
Well, Luca's a little disappointed. It's not like a quadcopter with a fly-by first person kind of thing.
You can fly it in first person. You got to be within 5 kilometers.
Well, Luca pipes back up, but I can fly it too, right? So I'm okay with that.
Yeah, you can fly it if you want. We're gonna get 4 of them.
We get in 4? That's a lot, not just 2.
You can buy his whole stock.
How much money everybody got?
I mean, his whole stock could run you 20 grand.
I have 5,000 Colchis monies.
You have Colchis money? Well, you mean
Yeah.
UCH. Oh, you just called it Colchis money. So I should probably point out that there's 3 governments within Colchis. I don't know where that card came from, but if it was during this part of the... It's probably UCH, yeah. UCI, sorry. It's United Colonies of Emirati.
I have 50,000 USCIs.
That's a lot. Oh, that's from
Yeah.
that's from the sale of the stuff. I thought you guys were putting that towards fuel. So you got to keep that in mind too.
Oh yeah, I don't have 50,000.
Did General Rogers pay us? Where did that money go?
He did pay you guys. That's why you guys were each 5 grand richer. That was distributed into your personal accounts. That's how Kizik went from having 50 credits to having 5,050 credits.
And being able to fly that drone is how Kizik went back down to 50 credits.
He just bought one. Okay. Now there's 3 available. And Luca is like, look what I got, guys.
Think I'm going to paint it colors.
Yeah, I will absolutely reward you for making a custom token for yours that's painted. With that said, so he's flying it around the hangar. That means that Luca's now familiar with these drones. Because it says familiarization period. So I'm going to say before you guys leave, if you want to spend at least a day familiarizing yourself with the drone, there will be no checks involved in using it.
I'm chasing the Tikar, the cat with it, or the griffin.
Oh. Hold on.
Oh man, I'm going to die.
Nope.
But he doesn't like that.
If you have a cat, right?
I don't have a cat now.
Let's explain cats and Roombas. Cats either love Roombas and they ride them, or they don't love them and they attack them. This is the second of those 2. This thing resembles, for better or worse, prey animals that Takar and his brethren hunt for food. Sammy, on the other hand, thinks it's a toy and keeps teleporting on top of it and trying to ride it like a surfboard. Both ways, they're attacking the drone. They don't damage it though. It is made of metal.
Hey guys, this thing's kind of resistant, or it's resistant to kitty cat scratches.
All right, I'm going to buy a drone and I'm going to familiarize myself with one too. So we'll have 2.
Okay. So we got heat suits, ice axes, cold weather clothes, thermal goggles, ice terrain kit. Oh, that's a good choice. Yeah, they're not DJI drones. Let's just be honest. They are way better than that. Climbing kits, 1. Okay. Grapple and cable, 1. And binoculars, 1. Don't you guys already have binoculars?
I don't know. Do we?
Look at my kit. That's a personal thing that you would have in your inventory if you had it.
I don't think that I do, but let me.
So my suggestion is to always have, like a flashlight, binoculars. I mean, to go the whole D&D trope, make sure you've got rope. Just the thing you want to keep in mind.
That would be a negative as far as the ship's locker is concerned.
Well, ship's locker doesn't actually do you any good right now because the ship is covered in fur balls.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So, you can't actually access the stuff on your ship right now.
No, I'm not seeing any rope or anything like that for me, so.
Well, I suggest, I mean, you're buying a pair of binoculars on your shopping list, so maybe make that 2 and maybe add a rope. Regular, like, basic nylon rope is such a imperceivable number of credits that you could just add it and I wouldn't care. But if you say climbing gear, that's going to come with rope.
Yeah. So how much is this list costing us so far? Some of the heat suits, the ice axe, they didn't have credits next to it.
The heat suits are like 350 a pop, I think. Let me get back to my thing here.
If somebody's keeping track, I can go look it up, but
Arctic weather gear, heat suits are 350 a pop. Advanced cold weather clothing is 500 a pop. Ice axes are 50 credits a pop. Ice terrain kits 50 a pop. That's like snowshoes and stuff. And rope. Look, there we go. Ice terrain kit. We're only buying one of those? You guys going to share the snowshoes?
The ice train kit should be 4 times 4.
Oh, okay. 50 of those. And yeah, that should have you pretty much set up. You basically bought everything in the Arctic and cold weather environment category, which was a smart decision.
Except for skis.
Except for skis, yes. But, you know, that was also probably a wise decision because I can just imagine one of you killing yourself on a set of skis.
Pizza or French fries? I don't know which one goes fast again. Fuck, there's a tree.
Ooh, we should have pizza. I'm giving him some of my gold for the rest of it. I paid for the drone with the credits that I had.
Okay. Is that enough to cover? Do you need change?
I think that's, you said 350 for the heat suit. The ice axe was 50, right?
Is he getting a deal because it's gold instead of the other stuff?
So it's worth a little bit more. Yeah. But looks like Ghost's paying for himself, so everyone keep that in mind.
Yeah, I don't have enough for everybody.
Go ahead and remove from the shopping list. I'm going to give you another card. And then we're just going to make one for everybody. And mark what you've paid for off the shopping list.
Luca's like reaching into his boots and pulling out little pieces of gold one at a time. But eventually makes it up to 700.
You got gold toe cheese?
No, that's just like your emergency fund if you ever just like gotta make a bet.
I'm not sure Ronan's still with us. Oh, wait, no, his hand moved. He's here.
Just muted and reading and getting prices on things.
Okay, I was just making sure.
So I'm assuming the 3 out of 5 cards here are actually our items.
There are shopping lists that you guys put together.
We've got like 3 of them.
Looks like the mat. Well, yeah, I have one for each of you to say, hey, go ahead and get your gold out and pay for your part of it. Looks like it's going to be 700. And then, so this is the whole shopping list for the group. So you just put what you bought on here. It should be one of each of the things. For each person, I think, is how it works. Except for the climbing kit and the grapple cable, but those things are so cheap. Whatever. I just want you guys to have a piece of material over there that says, I have these items. That way later on, when I say, did you bring snowshoes? You can say, yes, ice terrain climbing kit right here. I've got 3 things of gold.
And you said it was 750 is what it was?
It's 700.
700. Is this my drone, or did you make a copy of these so we have 2? Thank you. Luca and I are like flying them around each other, like dog fighting. Not really dog fighting.
Come on, Sammy. Give me that extra boost. With your $50, I can do a loop-de-loop with Sammy still on top of it.
Dubs, are you using local currency?
I'm using my Caucus Infinity card.
Yeah.
So I'm just reducing the dollar amount, which was 700 credits, right, for the gear?
Yep.
So I just reduced 700.
Everybody's covered. Okay. So you guys have now duffel bags full of cold weather gear. I'd like to point out, though, Dubs, that this is your opportunity to say, I need any specific piece of equipment and get it. Because you have a mission that is not related to tromping around in the snow. Like, you're probably going to do that too, but you have to go to this interview. I'm just going to hand wave the cost of like a suit. We're just going to say that's easy, but I was...
Yeah. Yeah, so dress clothes and, things like that to make me look respectable.
But there are other things you might need.
I'm looking here.
Feel free to talk it out with your friends.
What do you guys think? So, where are we sitting at with tech level? Was it 6?
So you can get anything up to tech level 9 in the starport without any issue.
Oh, okay.
But once you go to the town, it will be a different story.
Just remember, you want to look like a local.
Well, yeah, my suit's not going to be like, too nice, but, respectable.
Also, if you could drop a couple of listed in devices. I don't know. That's probably a bad idea. That's way too...
I don't know if I need that during the interview. I'd probably need something like that on my first day. Like if me, going to the office, I definitely want to have some kind of, transmitters or something like that so you guys can listen in or see what's going on or...
No, you need an ID. You need a fake ID saying that you're who you say you are.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, that's a great idea. Here's my...
You're going to need more than one form of ID usually.
So I just heard something different than what I originally thought you said, so I just want to clarify. Initially, you guys said, we're going to go to this interview, and I'm just going to try and glean information from the interview process about what we're doing. Now you're talking about physically actually going for your first day. Like you're going to actually go work there. That is a significantly different plan, and I just want to clarify, is that your plan? Because it's a 3-month cycle, and they shoot people who try to leave.
Oh, boy.
Okay. No, fair enough.
He would find that out during his first interview, though.
So the goal...
She already told him it's a 3-month... Like, that was we role-played that.
Yep, you're right. Yep, you're right. So the goal here obviously is not to go there, but to get as much information as I can from the interview. Is that what I'm getting?
I'm not telling. I'm asking. Is that your?
Oh no, that's I'm asking the group. I want to find out if anybody's got some different perception.
That is the plan.
Okay.
Now's also the chance to figure out what questions we want answered. Like, where does the fire people come from? And, what is the response time and things like that.
Gotcha.
How do you protect your employees from pirates?
Oh
True,
yeah, definitely. That's a big one right there. I gotta remember that.
I don't know
Pirate.
that I would directly ask questions like response times and stuff like that, but
True,
I would ask something like, how do you, like how do you protect us at work from like fire, flooding, famine, whatever, piracy, et cetera, et cetera. But I would not use the words of, I'm looking for your response times for your security forces to make sure I feel safe.
Oh no,
Probably
nothing
not the
like that.
greatest.
No, I have my note on that with response time stuff like fire and things like that and emergency stuff. But yeah, I just no, I hear you. I understand what you mean. Definitely not going to out and ask.
Like, how do you report to work, like for your 3 month shift or whatever? Like, how does that process work of getting onto the facility for your first day of work?
Do I have to bring anything like safety gear with me? Are there things I'm not allowed to bring with me?
Yep.
What's the food like?
Oh yeah, food. I want to ask if they have pizza.
You're not getting the job, though.
No, but it's important to ask. I want to know if it's there. It makes me real.
Yeah, what if they're like, cool, now follow me. Let's take you on your first 3-month rotation.
Well, they gotta let them out. Like, HR is meeting you at the cafe, right? So
Right, exactly.
that's not a 3-month rotation.
Yeah, does orientation happen in the mountain, or does it happen in the spaceship?
Let's just go ahead and establish something in the corporate world. How often do the peons actually have to follow the same rules as the corporate executives? Unless you work at a very different place than I do.
Yeah.
Oh, my boss is never there.
I'd also like to point
I
out.
do like the idea of the check-in process. What's it like? What do I need to do to get to my place where I'm actually doing my work? How do I make it past security? What do I need to present? That kind of thing. I mean, how do I get into the mountain to do my job?
All very valid questions. Right now, during our shopping trip, is there anything that you need? Maybe
Right.
like, do we need a tablet to bring in with you so you look more official? You got one of those that's not a spy gadget?
So yes,
Can we get a physical ID for you?
so I got down the physical ID. I think
If you want to forge an ID, you need to have someone roll a streetwise to find a broker who can fake an ID, and then you need to have a broker roll to negotiate for the price.
okay. I don't have a broker thing at all. So streetwise, I do.
Oh, you can go ahead and roll that then if you want.
So roll a streetwise, but do we have anybody that's a broker?
I think Ronan's a broker.
Yup. And streetwise.
Captain
Okay.
Steel.
He could do it all. He's the captain.
Yeah.
Hey, go for it, Captain. You want to roll it all? I was gonna roll streetwise, but man, if you can do everything,
I'll roll it all. You guys love my rolls. They're amazing. Let's do this. Streetwise coming up.
Go, Captain.
Yeah. Streetwise, is that an intellect education thing or is that a social thing?
It's a social thing.
I had to try to get out of social.
Yeah.
But your
So,
roll is so amazing.
It is amazing. 5, 6, 7, 6. My total is 6.
So you do not find a broker who can make a forged ID. You have a plan B? Gonna try and forge one yourself? That's an admin role.
I don't think any of us are trained in admin.
Nothing for admin.
Doesn't mean we can't do it.
I'm gonna try.
We got a fabricator. What does our ID around here look like?
For the record, Jack has a fabricator. Yours is on your ship.
Can a fabricator actually create a fake ID, or is that more just like for mechanical objects?
So the mini fabricator that Jack has access to is much different than the one you have on your ship. Because the local IDs are made out of plastic, it can print one. But it is much more limited in the size and materials it can use than the one on your ship. It also can't take things apart. It's got to be fed raw materials off of spools, like a 3D printer we would think of. But basically, yes, you can 3D print a ID. The question is can you do an admin role that makes it realistic enough that it'll pass muster?
Mm-hmm.
You want to give me a boost over here, Captain?
Absolutely.
I mean, that looks like Holmes, right? Just look at that picture. It's going to be great when it comes out. That's a 9. Nope, -3. What is admin? Is that intelligence?
Admin is intelligence, yes.
9 -3 plus
Ooh.
2.
Admin's education,
8.
but I think it's the same for you. Is your education the same?
Education's a 1, so it's a 7. It's real close.
You want to push the roll?
Yeah, I'm gonna push the roll.
Okay. So you manage to make the ID and get everything done, and you realize after you're done making the ID that there's a local code for felon that you've accidentally tied into his ID number. So he's in essence now, he's got a legit ID, but he's a registered felon.
I mean, I guess he was a pirate technically. I think it looks good.
You're not going to tell
Right,
him?
Captain, that's yeah.
Looks good. Let's do this.
Captain says it looks good too. Here you go.
Anything you guys need to tell me about that ID, or?
Yeah, what do you want to know about it? I mean, it's got all of the information you need right here. Even down here, it says that you're a felon.
Oh, it says it on the card, on the ID, huh?
I mean, that's what that huge long barcode at the bottom is.
Oh, it's a felon registration swiper thingy, huh?
Yeah.
Mm. So, a couple items. I know we've mentioned a tablet. Since we're kind of spies, right? And there a way we could do like a comms earpiece type thing so that my people can listen into the conversation that I'm having and be able to give me discrete information through an earpiece?
Yeah, there's Bluetooth.
Yeah, that's a Bluetooth headset. You just gotta have an open phone call with us. We go over this like every other day.
We're in a cafe. We can just sit next to you in like the next booth
Oh.
over and hear everything.
But you
All
were
right.
you were on an interesting track that someone may have talked themselves into and then out of earlier. You guys are spies, and you're banking everything on Thodub's ability to talk the information out of this person when there are other methods.
Well, we could beat it out of them. No, we don't want to do that.
I'm face palming,
I mean-
Thodubs. I'm face palming hard right now.
I know. I know. It was a joke. It was a joke. Bad joke.
Can I write a
No.
thing that duplicates her phone as long as it's within like a table's distance?
So you would need to use the intrusion on your phone to try to get into hers, if you wanted to do it that way. But yes,
Yeah.
you could do it that way. Alternately, if you had physical access to it, you could program a data wafer to do a similar thing. Or you could just clone her SIM card, if you had physical access to it. But you can use your intrusion software to hack remotely if you want.
I mean, that's a plan B. You guys want to try to snatch her phone while he's interviewing her? I mean, she's interviewing him.
We can try to do that. My issue is like, while we're in the cafe, we have our normal faces. We don't want to get ID'd at all. It's a lot of risk.
I mean, we can have a disguise.
All right.
You gonna be a waiter?
You guys keep talking about that for a second. Is there anything you guys need on this map? Go ahead and grab your tokens. I'm going to start making a makeshift cafe because I didn't make a map for that. But you guys can keep talking. Like
we're all sitting around the room.
Yep.
Can we have Jack come in here now?
Sure.
What's up, Jack?
We will say he's been filling out your shopping list for your special requisitions, and he's like, "All right, I think I got everything on your list. Just let me know if I missed anything."
Looks like everything's here, Jack.
Cool, good. What can I do for you guys? I don't need to know what you're up to. The boss told me not to ask too many questions. Agent Jackson was very specific that you guys get tech support and you can stay here in the rooms, and I'm not supposed to ask when you get in on like whatever mission you happen to be doing mode.
Well, can you take us to Layside?
Oh, you mean in the shuttle? Yeah. I can take you anywhere you want on the planet. I just gotta clear the fuel for the boss, and yeah, that's not a problem. Layside. God, that's the middle of nowhere. Nope, no questions. No questions. That was the rules.
Did
Have
your
you been there
shuttle?
before? Sorry, go ahead.
Does your shuttle have space for the rock? Do we need a vehicle while we're there?
It does not have room for the rock. It's 6 seat. It seats 6 comfortably. Try saying that 5 times fast.
I think we all tried to do it.
Yeah, I said sexy at one point. It's too tough.
All right, sweet. So we can get a ride. We're going to Layside. Thanks for all the gear. Everything's here. Our boy Aiden's got an interview. Is it
Awesome.
cold this time of year? Have you been there like lately?
Yeah, it's super cold up there. It's in the mountains. It started as a mining town. There's not a lot up there. It's really out of the way. It's one of the reasons that like you have to either fly there or take a really long, like over the mountains driving trip. But I mean, yeah, I mean, there's some skiing in the local mountains. There's a couple of isolated areas that you don't want to, or maybe you do want to go visit. He says slyly as he seems to have had a sort of epiphany.
I waggle my eyebrows at him.
Yeah, they won't let me go skiing.
I hear the hunting out there is pretty brutal.
Actually, there's some big game out there that are delicious, and if you happen to, in your travels, come across any of those said, big game and bring them back, I make an amazing ribs and barbecue from the local version of the elk. Just saying.
Is
Good
it
to
a
know.
hunter's license, or can we just shoot anything we see in the forest?
That's the wilderness. They don't care too much about licenses out there. Plus, some of the game, specifically, well, some of it will hunt you back. So, be careful. It also means that no one will raise an eyebrow if you go out there and you have to have something to protect yourself, and he does air quotes with. If you're picking up what I'm putting down.
Yeah, I'm gonna go get my big gun.
How are you going to get your big gun?
Oh yeah, damn it! I want to get my big gun, but I can't.
I might get a chance to try out my random destruction generator. That's what I'm calling it. I have no idea what it's called. It has a bunch of question marks.
Okay.
At your interview?
Oh no! When we go to the mountain.
Don't question it. Don't question it. Just saying.
No, I'm going to have that on the table while I'm sitting there at the break. Yeah, check this out.
I don't even know what this setting does. What's that beeping noise?
Whoops.
Does that sound like a Geiger counter to you?
And why is it getting faster? What's going on here?
Yeah. That must be just working better. All right. So, you guys have done all your shopping, you've done all your prep work, and Jack's gonna fly you out to Lee's side. He's also gonna say, "Hey, I'm obviously not gonna stay out here while you're out here. You can use this comm code to call me if you want me to come pick you back up."
Thanks, man.
And
Can I buy a big game rifle from you real quick?
I've got a few things like that available. The actual big game rifle, is that the one you want? The one that says big game rifle?
Yeah, it's the one I already have, but it's on the ship.
Okay. I think that's pretty low tech.
It is. It's TL5.
Then yes, you can absolutely get that rifle. It's basically a Martini Henry, but sci-fi.
Love it.
He has it in the shuttle. Hold on just a second.
Yeah, this is my white copy.
Okay. So he brings you to the town. The town is, honestly, it's incredibly small. And as he orbits around it a few times to give you guys like looks out the windows at it, you can see that it's just like the snowy Alps village that would be in the Swiss mountains kind of deal. As he finds a clear open field, because there's no actual shuttle pad, he sets you down, and it's about a half mile, no, we'll say a quarter mile walk to get into the town proper. And the parts of it that are in the snow are waist deep in snow.
So during the walk, is there like sidewalks and stuff once we approach the town?
When you get to the road has been plowed. It is blatantly a packed dirt road, but it's been plowed. It hasn't seen very much traffic other than that. There are sidewalks. Like, there are also people about, and people aren't alarmed at your presence or arrival, but you are of interest. You do notice that, people are stopping. Children are just stopping and waving. You know how children, they don't understand social norms. They're just like, there's a person, and they wave all giddy because there's this new person that they haven't seen in a very small town. But the adults are trying to be like nonchalant about it. But you guys are noticed as you come in, and you guys spot the cafe that Aiden is supposed to have his interview in. It's
How are people? I'm sorry. How are people actually transporting themselves? I mean, is this dog sleds? Is it cars? Is it snowmobiles? I mean, how are all of the above?
It depends on what they're doing. Most of the people you're seeing are just walking, because the only streets that are properly cleared are inside of the town, and the town is pretty closely knit together. Like the houses and the shops and everything, there's one main street, and then there's like maybe one or two little offshoot dead ends that you can go down, and that's the whole town.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, yeah, it's a pretty rural location. But you do see signs of snowcats, snowmobiles, dog sleds. There's even a couple of more advanced, like it looks like there's a G car for like the local ambulance service that can actually fly, like an air raft. So, there is some higher technology here. Also, you do notice that there's a lot of wood smoke coming out of most of the houses, but as you look down the alleys, every once in a while, you'll spot things like a fusion generator. So it's a good mix of technologies, and you do know that is something the government's been doing. Is the government is trying to keep the population loyal by providing consumer goods that better their lives. So there's just this mix of World War I technology in the form of a potbelly wood stove heating a house, and then there's a big screen TV in the living room, kind of thing.
Yeah, copy.
It's in my grandparents' house.
Yes, that's actually kind of what I was thinking of, is how my grandfather had his big, high-tech TV right next to his wood-burning stove.
Yeah, and the old outhouse out back.
Yeah. Well, he didn't have the outhouse, but, he did, because he didn't want to go inside from the shop, have a RV porta-john thing that he took out of an RV and put in his garage because he didn't want to have to go inside. So,
that's commitment right there.
It was. He also had a TV out there, which I was like, I was a teenager before I was like, you're not really working out here, are you?
A man needs this place.
Yeah.
Define working.
Yeah. So.
All right. Well, Aiden, do you want us to go in first and then you come in behind us so that we don't look like we're coming in together?
Yeah, I think we need to separate, obviously. Definitely kind of, scatter, come in at different times and spread ourselves out, at least. So I think that looks good.
You can totally do that. I
would like to go a little bit early, however, since this is an interview, stuff like that. I'd like to show up to the place a little bit early, get myself a drink, kind of sit down and relax.
I mean, you guys have arrived at like 8 a.m. and your interview isn't until like 2. So
oh, we got plenty of time.
You got plenty of time, but I was going to point out that while maybe it will work on the lady you're interviewing with coming in at different times, the locals all definitely know that you are not from here. That was kind of the point of the scene of you coming up the road. I wanted to establish that early on.
Oh, yeah. So, I guess maybe not. I think what we're trying with Ghost is trying to say is that we don't look like we're all traveling together in a pack. I don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense.
As far as me going in early, I just go in. I like to get acclimated to the area, get down, sit down, and just relax and stuff like that. I did have a meta question. The paperwork that was sent to me, is that something I think I already filled it out and stuff. I think I sent it back in. Is that something I need to have with me? Is that something that I just sent in electronically?
No, it's just electronic formality paperwork. And the truth is that she may not have even read it. It's just the minutia of getting an employee started.
Copy. Okay. I just needed to make sure I didn't need to have that with me or have anything specific. This is basically, I'm considering this to be interview number 2, basically.
Do I need the I-9 form and the W-9, or are you just going to need the...
Yeah, for real, Yeah. And
No,
that direct
great.
deposit form looked a little weird. I don't know. I was a little confused with that. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Is there anything you guys want to do to prep the room since you have so much time?
I just want to put up a camera and then maybe scope out like be in a different building.
Okay.
I didn't realize that it was going to be I'm sure that there's a lot of locals in this cafe when we come in the first time, right?
At like 8 or 9 a.m. It's going to be breakfast time. This cafe is